Hey, what's up, friends? I'm Scotty in from Anthrax, and you're watching Tattoo.com.
Hey, fuckers, it's Rockwell Anderson here with this fine gentleman, and I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on the bus, and I'm having one of those moments. I'm sure he gets it all the time, especially being in this town. I'm not worthy. Because we're in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, of course. If you're old enough, if you're old like me, you probably get that reference. But anyway, to you, sir, it's good to see you. It's good to officially meet you.
Oh, cheers.
You know, because I've seen you over the years many, many times, you know, mostly from the photo pit, etc. But we're here in Milwaukee. You guys have an off night from the Slayer tour.
Yes.
And so you're in Milwaukee on an off night. And I want to talk a little bit about For All Kings. I know you write the lyrics, and you are the face of Anthrax. Everybody, you're the man, okay? When they say I'm the man, he really is the man when it comes to Anthrax. Writing all the songs and being really the face of Anthrax and promoting a new album like For All Kings. How tough is it for you, and is it more of a band decision when it comes to playlist? Because certain bands like Iron Maiden, they do the new tour, the new album, and they do legacy tours.
Sure.
But you guys promoting a new album, what's the process like playing the new songs and keeping everybody happy?
Well, that doesn't exist. There's no such thing as keeping everybody happy because, you know, as the old saying goes, you can't please everybody, which is true. You know, as far as the new songs go, they kind of speak up for themselves, I think, throughout the process of writing and then recording an album. And what I mean is that we kind of have a good idea by the time we've tracked a bunch of songs, which ones are probably going to be the lead tracks, you know, good idea which one will be the first one we want to put out. Certainly by the time we're mixing, we'll already start having a good idea of, all right, well, that one's definitely going to be live, you know, the first time around for sure. There'll be a solid 3 or 4 that we know, all right, we're definitely going to play these. And then there'll be some maybes, and then there's ones that you hope to just be able to get to through a touring cycle. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not worthy of being played live. It's just, I don't know. It's been like that every album. The songs just kind of speak up, and they tell us. It's kind of obvious, like I said, when we're mixing, we'll know. Like when we made Among the Living, we knew Caught in a Mosh was going to be in the set right away. Whereas maybe a song like One World, for whatever reason, well, maybe that was a deeper album track, you know? I don't really know how to explain it. I would think most bands probably go through the same thing. You just kind of have a good feeling for what's going to work live, and maybe what's more a track that people are going to listen to in the comforts of their own home or something. I don't know. And I'm kind of going on and on here, but when we did Among the Living, the whole album, last year or 2 years ago, we did that European tour. We were doing a whole set of that. We would do a whole set of legacy and new stuff, and then we'd take a break, 20 minutes. They would reset the stage because we had 2 different productions, and then we would do all of Among. And that's how quickly you see, like, what songs work and what songs don't, because you could do Caught in a Mosh, Indians, I Am the Law, NFL, Among the Living. Those 5 are home runs every time, no matter what. Always. Skeleton in the Closet, next. That's a solid ground rule double, right? That's 6 of them. And then you have One World, Horror of It All, and Imitation of Life, which are like the last 3 songs on the record, I think, if I have my order right. And we would get to those songs in the set, and the energy in the room would just like, it's like someone stuck a pin in a balloon. And I don't think it's that it's not that they don't like those songs, and I think people were excited to get to hear them live, certainly for a lot of people the first time, because we didn't play those songs a lot, even in 1987. But, man, the energy would just die. And then we'd bring it back with, like, Antisocial at the end, and so then we decided we needed to change the order and not play Among in the order, because what worked for an album sequence wasn't working for a live sequence. And I don't know if it's just that people are they just, because we play Caught in a Mosh and Indians and those songs all the time. But they all have the record, so they could all just as easily listen to One World and those other songs. You know what I mean? So, in a way, it was an interesting experiment, and we learned. We were like, well, we were right on which ones were going to get played live and which ones kind of didn't. And the same goes for All Kings, and we're certainly not done with that record. I think we've done 5, I think maybe 6 songs off that album now through the course of the last 2 years. And, I want to play Defend, Avenge. That's one that really sticks out. I want to play the song For All Kings. It's another one that really sticks out in my brain that we haven't done yet, and I would love to do live. So, and we may do them, and we may hear crickets. But, at least for me, I'll be happy that I got to play it.
I want to speak a moment too about life on the road. We're not going to show, but you have a child.
Yes.
You have family.
Yes.
That travels with you. That at sea, we make sure that a lot of artists bring their family on tour, and we make it a point to never photograph them or put them on camera. But what does it mean to you to bring family along with you touring?
It's great. My son Revel and my wife Pearl, Pearl's always come out over the years, and then once Revel showed up, we always try and go no longer than 2 weeks without seeing each other, and that was certainly easier before he started school. But he's in school. He's not in school now because it's summertime. That's why he's here, and that's how this all worked out. This is actually our first solo daddy-son time on the road. Every other time Revel's been out, Mom's been here too, and but Mom Pearl has her own dates right now. She's on tour on the West Coast with her band, and so it was also like the first time where we were going to have this scheduling conflict. So I was like, what are we going to do? There's like 17 days, and we left it up to Revel. We said, who do you want to hang with? Who do you want to go on tour with? And the answer was Daddy. And so Pearl was out too initially, and then she flew home, and we've been hanging for almost 2 weeks. He's here till Friday with me, and then I'm flying him back to meet Pearl Friday night, and I have a day off Saturday, so then I could fly back into Nashville on the day off. And so logistically, it just all kind of worked out, and it means everything to me. To answer your question, it means everything. It's so great for me to have my little bro around, hanging out with me the whole time, and I think I could speak for you, Rev, saying you enjoy being out here, right? Yeah. He has a blast with all the guys and all the bands, and he's a metal fan already anyway.
He's wearing an Iron Maiden t-shirt right now.
So, and just to he's been a part of this world since he's 3 months. That was his first show, was the Big Four at Yankee Stadium. He's been on tour since he's 3 months old, on and off. So it's something I think really familiar and comfortable for him to get to do this. And he gets to ride on the bus, and he's got his own bunk on the bus, and he gets to party and hang out late. It's like the best summer camp ever.
I've seen him at Aftershock up in Sacramento, side stage. I've seen him in Dallas when we saw you last on the Slayer tour a couple months ago. But I'm going to tell a quick story before we get to Ink, because you don't have all night. I've gotten the reference. People have mistakenly, I don't know how this has happened, but people have mistaken me for Kerry King. And on Kerry, we used to live in Riverside, California, and right. Kerry spends a lot of time there. Known kind of Kerry, we've bumped into each other over the years, but one night we're at the Mission Tobacco Lounge in downtown Riverside, just unexpectedly ran into each other, and I said, you know what, Kerry, it's the weirdest thing. People somehow mistake me for you. I don't know how it happens, because we don't look alike. He said to me, crazy thing is, people thought I was Scott Ian.
Oh, Kerry said that to you? Yeah, I just think there's a recognition factor to the general public. Let's say the mainstream, maybe people who aren't actually fans, who haven't stared at album covers and hung pictures on their walls of their favorite bands, or to the mainstream, to the general public who have seen me or Kerry randomly on television doing something here or there. They just know, oh, it's the bald guy with a beard. That guy looks super familiar. Because I write a whole story about that in my last book. It's actually the first story in the book, which, goddamn, what's it called? I'm so brain dead right now. But
You've been on the road. It's a tough life.
yeah, and of course I'll remember it 10 minutes from now. But anyway, the first story in my new book is about exactly what you're talking about, is mistaken identity, because I've been called every bald guy out there, and guys with long hair. I've been called everybody over the years. Specifically, I once had a time back in the early 90s when I was maybe the only bald guy in metal. I don't even think Anselmo had shaved his head yet at this point, and I had a guy come up to me in the parking lot of a Circuit City in Huntington Beach, California, and he was convinced I was Anthony Kiedis. And I'm trying to explain to this guy, dude, and this is when Anthony Kiedis had hair down to his butt, and I was bald, and I could not talk this guy out of the fact that he thought I was Anthony Kiedis, to the point where he was like, you don't have to be such a dick, man. I can't believe how you treat your fans. I'm like, dude, I'm not him. I swear to you. I said, let's go inside that Circuit City right now. That really dates the story, Circuit City. And I said, let's go in there right now. We'll go to the Chili Peppers records, and I'll show you a picture of that. And he's like, you don't got to be a dick, man. And he got up in my face like he was going to punch me. And I was ready. I was ready. I thought I was going to have to take a swing at this guy. And then he just said F you, Anthony Kiedis, and he took off running through the parking lot. I was like, oh my God, is this how Chili Peppers fans behave? Poor Anthony Kiedis.
What's weird to me, when people have mistaken me for Kerry King, it's mostly been in Southern California, where Kerry King is when they're not on tour. I mean, that's where he lives. And that's
on a general level, you're bald. You have a tattoo on your head, and you have a beard. Now, granted, you don't have the same tattoo. Your beard isn't black, not as long as Kerry's. So, of course, to someone who knows metal, I would instantly know that guy is not Kerry King. But to the average guy walking down the street, you could be Kerry King, Scott Ian, Chavo from System, or Anthony Kiedis, or me. And any one of the above you could easily be.
Yeah, it was a teenager who was really, really convinced at a club in Orange County that was really, really, really convinced. He started getting pissed at me because I'm like, no, dude, I'm nobody. But anyway.
It's amazing how some people will actually get so angry, and it's like, boy, if they ever look at a record, boy, they're going to feel dumb when they finally... Although, I'll tell you what, if you put on, a pair of Oakleys or something, old school, back in the day, and just colored your beard, you could pull it off.
Straight on with
you'd have to wear sleeves, though, too.
Yeah,
because
nothing on there. Well, I got Rockwell on there. But I can look like Halford if it just straight on.
Right.
When my beard was a little shorter. And with the glasses,
yeah.
I'm Halford. But anyway, enough about all that shit. Let's get to tattoos. When did you get your first tattoo? How long has it been?
My first tattoo let's see if I even got the arm wrong. That's how long it is. Was right here. And I want to say 90 or 91.
Before it really became cool. It was starting to be acceptable.
It's the same sun, the outer sun design that Rollins has. The color's all faded. It used to be red and blue, but it's the outer sun that Rollins had, and then I did a different face in the middle of it because I was a big Rollins fan, and where I was living at the time in Huntington Beach, tribal tattoos were really big on all the surfers and punk dudes and hardcore dudes, and so I put the tribal face in the middle with the Rollins sun around it. That was my first one, and I waited a long time. I was 26, and I'm glad I did, because there were many times in the 80s, younger, 18, 19, 20, where I thought about getting tattoos, and then I just didn't. And I'm glad I didn't, because I probably would have had some really bad,
bad choices,
bad Batman tattoo, probably like a Frank Miller Dark Knight artwork or something, and it would have been done in 86, and it just wouldn't have been good. And I probably would have had some really bad tattoos. So I kind of waited until I saw people getting tattoos that I thought the actual work looked great. Because by the early 90s, work just got better. And I started finding out about tattoo artists. This was Marguerite, actually, on Long Island, from Peter Tattoo, who did this on me. And she's a great tattoo artist. And I figured, if I'm gonna finally go all in and do this, I want to know that the person doing it at least has done quality work on other people and not just walk into a shop randomly because, oh man, I'm getting a Judge Dredd tattoo, which almost happened like 3 times.
I've got a friend who's got a Tasmanian devil tattoo and a barbed wire tattoo. Both of probably he regrets.
My brother had a Tasmanian devil, which I think he's covered up since. Yeah. He got it like way early on.
Have you gotten any within the last 5-10 years?
I think the last one I got was my son's name, which you can see here, Ravel Young. Bob Tyrell did this, who I actually need to text back. He was at the show last night. And,
we love Bob. He's a great guy.
Bob's done my son's name on me, and he's done my black tooth, which I got after Daryl died. And it's like, I feel like I'm just not using Bob Tyrell for his powers. Bob Tyrell has such a superpower, and I'm not nearly touching on granted, he did a great job on these, but I need to get like a real Bob Tyrell tattoo one of these days.
So, your son, when he gets of the age when he can get tattoos, what's your advice going to be to him?
It's totally up to him. Just do what you want to do. Just make sure you're getting it with a good art. I would certainly recommend artists for him to see if he ever decides he wants to get a tattoo. Sure.
We had that own discussion. The boss, the wife, and I had a discussion about our kid. She got hers her first one when she was 16, which wasn't legal in California. We had to go to Nevada.
Wow.
But we got tattoos. We're not hypocrites. She wanted to do it. We made her think long and hard about it. Sure. And she ended up getting our logo, of all things, tattooed on her. So I'm like,
cool.
That's cool. But so it's something that, we're like, you're not going to get it done by anyone. The only one that we got pissed about, her tattoos, she went to a shop in Moreno Valley when she was 17 without our permission. It's not legal.
Right.
She got a shitty alien smoking weed tattoo on her thigh. So, kid, we're pissed at you, still pissed at you for that.
You get so easily these days. Granted, it's a pain in the ass, but you could get it taken off or you could get it covered up. I see amazing cover-up work out there. Frankie's had like a cover-up done, and our manager, Mike. Stefano used to be with, he's in Florida now. He used to work at Paul Booth's place. And do you know him?
I don't know him personally. Paul, we do know.
Yeah. Stefano, I've personally seen some cover-ups. He's an amazing tattoo artist, but I've seen some cover-ups he's done as well. So yeah, she could always get it fixed.
Well, sir, thank you for all your time. We appreciate it,
Cheers.
Especially day of show. We know what a pain in the ass it is to meet with us media schmucks, and it's part of the job, I guess.
No worries.